this terrorist? What makes you so valuable to him?
Oh, God would have mercy. He won't.
No!
What if the only man who ever understood you got captured behind enemy lines and no one was coming for him? John Rambo has disappeared from America. No flag, no unit, no orders. He's in Thailand, fighting in back alley rings for cash. Then handing the money to monks and going back to work at a quiet monastery. He's trying to live like a normal man. Then a message arrives from his past. Colonel Sam Troutman is headed into Afghanistan, and if something goes wrong there, nobody will admit it ever happened. Rambo is rebuilding walls at the monastery when 3 American officials arrive. Among them is Troutman, the only man who still calls him John. Troutman shows him a photo of a sick Afghan child. The war has spilled into villages. The Soviets are crushing civilians. The rebels are outgunned. Troutman has been offered a mission to support them and wants Rambo by his side. Rambo shuts it down immediately. He tells him his war is over and walks away. Troutman reminds him what he is on the battlefield, but Rambo doesn't move. He chooses the monastery over another war he doesn't fully understand.
I guess I'm not ready yet. Sorry.
Troutman goes into Afghanistan without him. The mission falls apart on day 1. A Soviet jet hits his team and tears it apart.
You cannot escape!
The survivors, including Troutman, are taken prisoner and dragged to a remote camp. Back in Thailand, a contact named Bob finds Rambo, tells him Troutman has been captured and that no official rescue is coming. This time, Rambo doesn't argue. He agrees to go. There's one condition: the mission is unofficial. If he's caught, there is no country behind him. He packs his gear and flies into Afghanistan alone. Afghanistan is tense. Armed men on every corner, eyes on every foreigner. Rambo meets his local contact, Musa, who expects a squad. Instead, he gets one quiet American. In Musa's armory, Rambo explains the plan in plain language. Infiltrate a Soviet prison and pull out one man, Colonel Troutman. Musa thinks it's insane. One man against the Soviets? He tells Rambo he needs more men and warns him he doesn't understand this war. Rambo doesn't argue or boast. He just keeps moving.
My name is Colonel Zaisi, regional commander of this sector.
Where are the missiles?
I don't know anything about any missile.
What he doesn't see is Musa's assistant quietly listening. Later, that same assistant goes to the Soviets. Before Rambo even reaches the prison, his name and mission are already in enemy hands. Musa takes Rambo to a rebel village. There, Rambo sees the real cost of the war: wounded civilians in a makeshift hospital, families with almost nothing left. The local leaders are cautious. They've seen whole villages wiped out in one raid. Helping attack a Soviet prison could bring that same destruction down on them. Rambo tells them he's not asking anyone to die for his mission. If he has to go alone, he will. Before the debate ends, a Soviet jet roars over the village and fires. Missiles hit, houses explode, people run, roofs collapse. Rambo doesn't hide. He runs for a mounted machine gun, grabs it, and aims straight at the jet. His bullets connect. The aircraft catches fire and explodes in midair. It's a small win in the middle of a massacre, but the rebels see what one man like him can do. From here on, it's not just a rescue, it's payback.
This is not your war. It is now.
That night, Rambo and Musa move toward the prison. The ground is lined with landmines and almost invisible tripwires. Musa brushes one by accident. Rambo reacts instantly, catching the pin before it can fire. 1 second slower and they're both dead. A boy named Hamid appears, trailing them. He calls himself a soldier. The Soviets killed his family. He has nothing left but revenge. Rambo tells him to go back. Hamid refuses. They cut through 2 fences. Searchlights sweep, dogs bark in the distance. Inside, prisoners are being dragged to torture. Rambo slips inside the building, taking out guards quietly. 2 women in a nearby cell point him to Troutman. He finds his colonel hanging from chains, exhausted but alive. He starts breaking the lock. Hamid shows up in the doorway at the wrong moment. A Soviet guard enters. Rambo throws a knife into his neck, but the soldier still manages to fire his rifle as he falls. The quiet part of the mission is over. Alarms go off. Lights snap on. The camp explodes into noise. Rambo moves Troutman out while Musa's explosives start to go off around the compound. Hamid is shot in the leg and can't walk. Rambo throws the boy over his shoulder and fights his way through the gunfire, shooting with one arm and carrying him with the other. They reach an underground escape tunnel with Soviet soldiers right behind them. Inside the narrow passage, Rambo plants a charge above the path and sets the timer. When the enemy pushes forward, the blast collapses part of the tunnel, sealing it and buying them time. They reach a barred steel window at the far end. Rambo shoots the frame until it weakens, then rips it out with his hands. Outside, horses are waiting, brought by Musa's allies. A watchtower opens fire. Rambo grabs a rocket launcher and hits the vehicles under the tower, taking out the shooters and clearing their exit. They ride off into the dark. Back at the camp, Zaysen is furious. He demands to know who would attack a Soviet base for one man. Troutman answers simply that God would have mercy. Rambo won't. The escapees hide in a cave beyond the prison. Hamid gets basic treatment. Troutman is alive. By normal standards, the mission is done. Rambo doesn't see it that way. He focuses on the jagged piece of wood still lodged in his side. He forces it through, pours gunpowder into the wound, and lights it, sealing it shut while he grits his teeth in silence. In the morning, Soviet patrols search the caves. Their commander circles above in his jet. They don't find Rambo. He's already climbing back toward the camp, injured but determined to finish the job. Back at the prison, Troutman is strapped up again. A torturer plays with a flamethrower inches from his face. Rambo drops in from a vent and kills him in one move. Guards rush in and die just as fast. Prisoners pour out of their cells and head for the helicopter pad. They knock out a pilot, hijack a chopper, and lift off under a storm of gunfire. One prisoner is hit and falls from the side, clinging to the landing gear before losing his grip and dropping away. The helicopter escapes the camp but takes too much damage. The engine fails, and they crash land in open ground. The chopper explodes, but Rambo, Troutman, and a few others get out in time. The freed prisoners scatter to escape on their own. Rambo and Troutman move together in another direction. Zaysen refuses to let them go. He sends more jets and ground troops, then pushes forces into another cave system. Inside, a brutal tracker named Kurov leads the hunt. In the darkness, Rambo uses every advantage he has. He picks off soldiers with arrows and knives. Moves before they can pin him down, and uses the cave's tight spaces to control the fight. Kurov almost corners him with gunfire, but Rambo answers with an explosive arrow that blows him back and burns his face. The last confrontation turns into a hand-to-hand fight. They slam each other into the rock walls. Kurov wraps Rambo in a crushing hold, squeezing around his injured side. Rambo reaches for a grenade on Kurov's gear, pulls the pin, and shoves him away. A final move sends Kurov over a drop with a rope around his neck. The other end is tied to a heavy stone. The fall tightens the rope and ends him. Rambo and Troutman emerge from the caves and see a larger Soviet force waiting. Trucks, tanks, and Zaysen himself. Zaysen offers surrender over a loudspeaker and promises a fair trial. Rambo answers with a rocket that blows up a truck and starts the final battle.
If we're gonna go, I wish we could have taken that bastard with us.
He and Troutman shelter in a shallow trench while bullets and explosions tear up the ground. Rebel fighters led by Masood arrive on horseback, charging the armored line and forcing the Soviets to split their focus. From the sky, Zaysen strafes them with his jet. In the chaos, Rambo seizes a tank. Now it's him in a tank versus Zaysen in the air. They fire at each other. Troutman shoots down the gunner on Zaysen's plane, giving Rambo a clear shot. Rambo takes it. His round hits. Zaysen is killed and the aircraft loses control. Troutman yells for Rambo to jump. But there's no time. The jet and the tank collide in a massive explosion. For a moment, everything is fire and silence. Rambo wakes up inside the wrecked tank, bruised and burned, but alive. The field is calming. Zayson is dead. Troutman is safe.